Welcome back. Been a bit of a long time coming, this one. I am muddling up the order I'm filming these. I'm half or most of the way through filming a little update on the Britannia, which is under that blanket there, and a little bit of modification there. Hopefully you've seen that by now. But I am going to paint the Pompom. We are at a stage that I've got everything masked up, everything's been sanded. All I'm going to do now is just give it all a wipe down with some degreaser, just make sure it's as clean as I can have it before I paint it. Now, as you can see, I've had a bit of a layout change to make it easier to get around the makeshift bench that I've created here and the original bench where the other bits are. So I wanted to spread things out, give myself more space. Over here I've put a bit of bar out of this trolley and another one out of that trolley so that I can take these, paint them, put it back on the other one. There we go. What else have I done? This brake stand, something that I need to get all around. So I've nailed it to a bit of wood. The very bottom doesn't need to be painted so much because it's under the floorboards. That makes life easier. And the boiler barrel is hanging on a bit of wood there. So I can pick it up, spray all around it, put it back on the support. The dome is stood on a paint can, so that I can paint all of that. So, they're pretty much all the bits. I've tried to lay everything out so that I can get to all the angles I need to for that particular item. Yeah, I've also, having masked everything up, got everything ready, what I've just done is just blow the airline. Everywhere I've blown the airline to get rid of all the dust. I know it's still going to be airborne in here. It is going to settle, but I'm going to paint tomorrow and not today. I might do a little bit of priming just to get a little bit of etch primer on everything. And yeah, tomorrow, hopefully, is when we start painting properly. So let's fast forward a little bit. And there we go. So that's finished for today. Tomorrow we will start getting some colour on it. Well, technically, as it's black, it's a lack of colour. So yeah, let's hope it all goes well once we start putting the undercoat on. So just a little word of advice, and I hope I don't need to tell you why I know this and why it's suddenly come to my mind. If you are using a rag and soaking it in the degreaser to clean it all up and get rid of all any grease from the surface, don't put it in your pocket. I've got a little itch now. So that went well yesterday. I've had a little look around it all this afternoon, having got back from work, and it all looks good. So we're ready to put on some black. I've got the black undercoat ready. I have also rigged up the airline, as you can see, going up through a gap between the wall and the roof. The reason for that being the compressor can be out in this part of the workshop, down there, running up through that same hole. So I can shut the door for two reasons. One, the noise won't be too distracting when I'm spraying, and secondly, well, it keeps the fumes out this side. That way, when I finish doing that, I can come out here and carry on with something else, which hopefully by now you'll have seen the end of. So let's get going. I've set myself up a little workstation here to mix the paint, so here goes. So we've got Craftmaster black undercoat, Craftmaster thinners, and I've got a mixing pot. So we're going to mix it up in here. Then if I don't use it all, I can put the lid on, and it keeps it all nice and tidy. So let's go. There we go. I'll do the rest and then let you see. And there we have it. The first coat of undercoat is on. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but I don't think it's too bad. The telltale signs that I've been wearing a mask while I've been spraying. But now, I'll leave that to dry. What I've done is I've cracked the, or before I sprayed, I cracked the front garage doors open slightly. Left the light on so that I don't forget to close the doors later. And I can get on with something else. So it's now tomorrow. I've come back out and I did have a couple of little spots where bits of muck had landed, or one tiny little sag which I've rubbed out. Just rubbed out the bits of muck and impurities with a bit of 800. Let's take a look. So on the roof there was one significant lump there. Wasn't really much on the boiler barrel, on boiler cladding there, or much on the barrel, to be fair. The roof had a couple of little bits on it, and it was the back of the tender where I had a little sag here. So I'm going to tackle this a bit differently this time. So I sort of just did all of the back in one go. I had to get it from different angles to hit different bits. So this time I'm going to come out, start first, try and get a little light coat on some of the detail, and then paint other stuff, then come back and just get a swift coat on the whole thing. Hopefully then the light detail bits will have a coating and that'll start to be going tacky before the rest goes on. So with the final undercoat having gone on yesterday, and a little admission, I did on one coat of the undercoat lose concentration while I was painting, and I forgot I'd already painted one side of the tender, put a coat on, and it started to run or sag. So then it got rubbed down, and then the next coat, last coat, went on, and it's all good now. So I'll give you a little show and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So there you see, it's got a nice covering of the black, but there are a couple of blemishes in the paint in a few places. So what I'm going to do is just get some very fine sandpaper, or wet and dry, rub them out, flatten them off, and then we can put some top coat on. So there we have the first coat of top coat gone on. Now I think I will have one more coat of that. We will see. Let's take a look at it in the morning once it's dry.